Okay, in this video, I am going to walk you through getting your museum project set up from the ground up. So first step is let's head to Blackboard, and if you've already done this, that's fine. I just want to show you that I'm using the same files you are, and if you're having any trouble, you could just retrace what may have gone wrong using this video. Okay, so I'm going to delete my zipped folder. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to go to my LARC 2331 and just do a Control V, and I am going to call this okay, and then I am going to make a shortcut over here, and I'm going to double click on here and see what I have. Okay, and so here's the museum project, and it's always a good idea to just Control V, make a copy of that, and then as I said, with the file that you're going to be using, please put your name in the front. Okay, and then let's just double click on this guy to fire up Civil 3D. Okay, so this is a very deep and powerful software program, but it has a lot of similarities to ArcGIS in the sense that here you are in real world space. Okay, you draw, I think everyone knows this, you don't draw to scale, you actually draw the lines and the rectangles and all of your shapes to the size they would be in real life. So the reason why units and unit settings and scale are so important is because we obviously have to put this on a sheet of paper at some point so people can visualize it, and that's what we do here in our layouts. Okay, so if you select your viewport here, let me make sure I got that guy. Okay, and then come down here, you're going to see we are at 20 scale. Okay, so that's the scale we're going to be using for our sheets. And what I like to do is once I get my viewport centered and everything's good, I just lock that viewport down. Okay, and that way I don't accidentally shift things within the drawing in viewports in the viewport. Okay, then jumping back to model space, whenever you begin a CAD drawing, you always want to check your units. Okay, and I know you guys are working in architectural inches, but no grading programs will allow you to do spot elevations in architectural inches. Okay, it always has to be done in decimal feet, and that's just the way I've always worked as a landscape architect. Okay, I think it's a good idea for this project that we just stick with decimal feet. Okay, because we'll just all be on the same page. Okay, so this should be decimal, and you don't need any more than 3 zeros for your precision. Okay, now what's important as well is that you recognize the units that CAD will recognize when you import a block, when you import another drawing, an XREF. Okay, and since we're using decimal feet, we need the units that we're importing to be translated into feet as well. So this insertion scale is very important, because if you don't get that right, you'll be trying to pull in blocks of cars and they're going to be, way too big or way too small, and that can get really frustrating. But it all centers around your insertion scale. Okay, now let's just talk very, very briefly about the Civil 3D setup. Okay, you have different workspaces here. And when you are in drafting and annotation, which is what we should be in for this project, you are essentially in AutoCAD, okay? That's why I like this new Civil 3D, because you don't need to flip-flop between several different programs. It's really all just wrapped up into one here, okay? And then just like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, just like ArcGIS Pro, these guys all use what's called the ribbon interface, okay? So this is your ribbon, all right? And it changes every time you click on a tab. A new ribbon unrolls, okay? And what unrolls are the tools that are central to the tab you clicked, okay? So if you click on annotate, for example, it's going to give you all the tools you need to work with annotation. And LandFX has adopted this as well. So if you click on FX site, this is going to give you all of the tools that they have for working on your site plan, which is your hardscape. Same thing with planting, and we're not going to worry about irrigation, thank the Lord, or details. Okay. But the first thing you want to do, okay, now that you have your drawing in, I always do a little Control S every so often. Let me jump back 1 second. Okay, so we talked about this ribbon. Now, I've worked with CAD for many years, and I've discovered that there are two indispensable panels that you need to have open at all times, okay? Just like in GIS, where we had our table of contents, and then over here we had our catalog, it doesn't translate exactly, but these two panels are as essential as those two panels are in ArcGIS, okay? I always have my properties panel open. And one of the reasons why is you would be amazed how much precise editing you can get done, okay, just using your properties panel, okay? So if I select this line, all right, you can, this is probably not the best example because it's it's not a polyline, but let me just draw a polyline, for example. If I select it here, I can raise the elevation, I can make it wider, I can, change the length. There's a lot that you can do just in the properties panel, and it's also a lot more precise than just working with your mouse. Okay, then layers panel. This thing can become a mess really quickly, okay, and it can be a real pain. We may use filters once we get into the planting plan, but for now, just hide that, all right? And what I do is I eliminate all of the columns I don't need, so I right-click and I turn off this on column because I don't use on and off, I just use freeze. I do show my locked, color, line type, and transparency. Everything else I simply turn off, and that way they all fit in here nicely. Now the last thing about this the layers tab, this layers panel, it's very much like an Excel spreadsheet, okay? So it's very easy sometimes if you have so many layers to constantly be scrolling up and down. You don't have to do that, okay? Because say you want to sort by name, you just come up here. If you know your layer is an XREF, then you want to go to the bottom of the alphabet, okay? If you know it's grading or hardscape, you want to go to the top. If you're looking for frozen layers, okay, make sure you're all the way at the top of your column, and then you can see all the layers that are frozen. In this case, only 2. Same thing with locked. I think you get the point. And this one's actually kind of handy because sometimes I forget, the name and all of that, but I know the color of the layer because I can see it over here. And so I can just sort by color and boom, there's just the one layer that I was looking for, that's cyan, for example. And then line types are very important, okay? And it's good to use different line types to differentiate between what you are drawing. Okay, so now to wrap up this video, let's load in our LandFX project. And so to do that, we need to come to Admin, FX Admin, and we're going to go to the project list. All right, and what we are going to do is choose restore, okay, and we are going to import from this local LFX file. Now all of this is in your zipped folder, so shift select both of these are preferences that I created that are going to help you when you label your plants and other things. And then this project data is going to be very helpful because, I loaded all of the hardscape hatches and designs and data and plants as well. So select those guys, choose open, and just click yes here. Okay, and then just give it a minute. Okay, and then just click open. Okay. And then here, we're just going to click OK. All right. Now, come to FX site and click on reference notes. Okay. And you should see all of these guys loaded in here. Okay. So, if and I'm going to get into these later. I just want to make sure you have these loaded. Okay, now click on FX planting, okay, and you're going to see all of the trees, all of the different shrubs, grasses, things like that. Okay, now let's go back to trees, and for some reason a lot of my symbols didn't come over to the FX that you have at school. So if you want to, for example, put down a cedar elm, you would just select that and you would choose place. Okay, now you're going to see this quite a bit, all right, because of that problem. So just click yes, or no, I'm sorry, don't do that, because I can tell you how to fix it. You don't have to mess with that jibber jab. Okay, so hit place and just click no. Okay, and when that happens, then just click no, come back, select that plant and choose edit. And what it's looking for is you have your color icon, but it's looking for that 2D icon. So just click in this black space, and then you can just pick any one of these symbols. And since a cedar elm is deciduous and it's a rather large tree, a symbol like this is probably better than just one of the simple symbols. Okay, and then click OK, and then OK, and then you will be ready to place it. Okay, and these go, as you can see here, a new layer is created. So everything that you do in LandFX, what's really nice about it is it creates its own layers, and then later on we're going to do our own schedules. Okay, now in the next video I'm going to go further into depth on how to use those different tools in LandFX. The last thing you need to do is just double check your scale. Okay, so go to FX Admin and go to scale, and you remember we were using 20 feet, 1 inch equals 20 feet. And sorry guys. And what's so great about this as well is that once you lock down your scale based on your viewport, then all of your annotation, your text, your schedules, everything is going to come in at the appropriate scale for this sheet. Okay, so that's why we set scale, because everything in CAD, like I said, these trees are going to be the same size whether you're using architectural inches or whether you're using light years. The whole reason we have scale is so human beings can read what we've drawn. Okay, I am going to end this video with that and get a drink of something, and I'll be back in the next one. Thanks.